glad to see you all this evening. Alice, of course, is out of state, so you got to put up with me.
Nothing she got escaped.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Alice, I want to remind you all that we do not have a meeting next month because we're doing on the even months of the year, for the time being at least. Come on, Charlie. That the state fair is coming up, and we do have the honey judging going on at state fair, so we ask you all to make something with honey, or if you end up pulling some honey this year, add that into the honey contest this year at the state fair. Hello, hello. Our speaker tonight is going to be Jerry. He's going to talk about spinning honey from hive to bottle. But before he gets started, I don't know who was here last meeting, but my son is making these vases over here. And any of the bee vases, they all come with certificates stating what type of wood it is and everything. Any of the vases, bee-wise, 10% of it comes back to the CABA Association. They're $35 with flowers and $30 without. And he will also take orders for them if two of y'all want the same thing or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to ask Carrie to step forward and say our prayer tonight, or today, and turn it over to Jim.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day that you've given us, and Lord, we just thank you for the freedom and opportunity we have to come together and discuss and learn about your great creation, the honeybee. Lord, we just thank you for each family represented here tonight. Thank you for safe travels here, and so we just pray for safe travel back home. Lord, just be with Jerry as he presents our presentation tonight, and give us all men sin in Jesus' name.
How y'all doing today?
Good.
Great. Now, like I said, I'm going to do my demonstration from hive to bottle. I did this on CABA's page for the Zoom meeting about this time last year. My wife and I filmed it. We did all in one take. It wasn't too bad because I made improvements for it. But yeah, we did it all in one day, so we made the best of it. And it worked out pretty good. So this time I decided I'm going to do the same thing. Only this time, I don't have bees.
But you have us.
Huh?
But you have us.
Yeah.
How many honey?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll do this right. I got bees in the hive. I got this bee right here. I got this bee right here. Of course, I got the queen matriarch of all of them, the queen. All right. So anyway. You want smoky bees. You want smoky bees just a little bit, not like just a couple puffs here, and open up your inner cover, and put a few puffs there, and just let it sit for just a minute, let some of that smoke go down. You take your inner cover off, and then what I do, I just set this off to the side. Have put all this back together, and take the honey super right here, and I use a blower instead of a bee brush. Everybody's gonna do it a little bit different, and I just take this. Just go through it a couple of times, and blow out the beginning. You're going to get about 80% of them out of the hive. And lay it back down. I've done this, I would not ring it. If you got a metal top on your hive, do not lay this hive back down right square on that metal top. You're going to have bees that are going to get trapped down there, and you're going to cook those. So what I do now is just flip my inner cover, my telescoping cover, back like this, then blow all the bees off. And you set this back down. Take your hive tool. I've already got 3 frames of honey always in here. Yeah, I went through 2 different boxes to get 3 good frames out of here like this.
Okay, now tell me your basis. You know, if you were not doing this class and you were just robbing your bees.
Right.
What would you not pull out to rob?
I like my frame to be about 90% fully capped.
Okay.
You know, some of them take maybe 80%, but I prefer mine to be at least 90, and I would really prefer them to be, fully capped on both sides. And but that's just my opinion. Then once I get the frame out, you're still gonna have a few bees on there. I can blow them off, or you can take your bee brush the front side and the back side, and get the rest of them off of there, and then I'll put them into put your frame into another box to keep the bees. I can try to keep the millions of bees out of there. Now, if you get bees in, they're going to come up to the top of the screen. You can just take your cover right here, flip this over like this, and you'll get all the bees in. You may have to do that a couple different times. And you're going to repeat that same process all over again. Take your frame out, brush your bees off, slide this over, slide it back, and there again, if you get bees in there, take this out and flip it over real quick. Put in your last frame. Same process.
Do you put 9 frames in a 10-frame box?
No, mine are all 10. I do not. I've tried putting 9 in the 10, but then, in my personal opinion, all you get are frames that look like 2x4s. Sometimes you get more honey, but I still think you get just as much honey off your frame with a 10 versus a 9. Because now you're gonna have, instead of your frames being, drawn out just a hair past the sides, now they're going to be, at the width of a 2x4. So, it's my opinion.
Do you leave your boxes half full, half empty while you pull your honey and then deal with putting the
I
frames
do.
back in the next day?
I leave my hives. I take off. I do 1 box at a time, and the next box I look could be all honey also. I'll let it sit right there until I get done with this box, and then put all my frames, all the frames into this box, and then I'll have another box. I can have this box here empty, where I can put other frames into.
Okay. If you were going through that and you had some frames that did not meet your qualification to rob, do you leave them in that box, or do you?
I do, and then I will, when I get through going through that particular hive, I'll go there and consolidate the ones that I don't want.
Okay.
If it takes 2 boxes, and if I have to put drawn frame back in there, I will. And I have gone through there and have boxes that I have that I don't fully take out, and then and I have some up here. And as long as I do it within a day, I can keep the other 4 or 5. The space, I can keep them empty, but as long as I put them frames back within 24 hours, they don't mess it up.
Do you ever rob any out of your brood boxes?
No,
Okay.
no, none whatsoever. It's all from the top.
Well, what is your thoughts about the BB gone that we've always used?
I've never used it. So honestly, I can't. I can't tell you. I don't know the answer to your question.
Well, that's not about what you used to.
Yeah,
But I've heard a lot of good thoughts.
Yeah.
I'll tell you after the proposal how to do it. That's how I do it with the BB gun.
How do you?
So anyway, so now, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself.
You want us not to ask you questions?
I'm
You
sorry,
want
what?
us to not ask you questions until you get through?
Oh, no, go right ahead. I mean, I don't care.
Okay.
Alright.
People have their routines.
This is my own capping trade. I made this one myself. I ordered these 2 boxes online. And then I drill a hole, put the honey bead on the front. I cut the bottom out, and it was no exact science of what size to cut. I just felt like, okay, here I could cut, leave some space to support this and try to do that. And then I bought this green. This was at Lowe's. Yeah, I kind of came in a 18-inch square piece. So that goes in the bottom of my capping tray. Or then I made my own stick to fit. There's a little snug going on there. You want to start out go down about a couple inches and do you an uppercut, or like this right here, and you come down with this back. I'm gonna have to flip it around. I know y'all can't see it, but anyway, you'll come down in a sawing motion with your knife.
Just get to the side, so they can see when you cut it off.
Okay. All right. Back to square one again. All right. So now, like I say, we'll do the uppercut. Come down here.
You know, better than cut towards yourself.
Put that into the extractor.
Are you trying to cut really thin, or does it matter how much honey you cut off with as you're cutting?
I try to follow the side right here like this, depending on how much they're drawn out this way. Yeah, to me that really matters. So I said when I'm cutting it, I'm trying to you don't want so much pressure that you cut into the wood, because you can't do that. But you want to just come in just lightly with falling wood and just come down here just like this.
Did you not want to put a nail in your cutting?
Yeah, I know. A lot of people do. I have this thing positioned from here to Timbuktu, and I'll have it leaning like this. I'll have it leaning backward like this. So a nail or a screw in the center of this right here, to me, it's pointless. But like I said, everybody.
But that's his term, not to put one in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's understandable. Some
Yeah.
much is up to what works best for you.
Yeah, they generally put, you have a nail or a screw, it always takes up maybe 3/16 of an inch.
Plus his board's a little bit wider, I noticed. That might help too.
Yeah, it's just more stable.
Yeah. But, the way I do everything, I made one with that nail in there, and I don't care for it.
Okay, I can understand completely.
Now this one's on black plastic foundation. That's why it looks like it's a different color. Everybody see this okay?
Good.
You know, I'm just, you
You're
know,
getting better.
I'm left-handed, so I know it makes it awkward for y'all to see, but that's the only way I know how to do this where I can do it.
I knew there was something weird about it.
Yeah, we're not gonna hold it.
Not gonna hold it against me, right?
Now, can you explain what Michelle is doing on the other side?
Okay. Yeah. Just
She's trying to hide from us.
yeah.
Ain't no tasting.
Can't help it.
No, what I was doing, there was a little patch that the knife didn't catch, so I was using this comb scratcher just to kind of scratch a little bit loose,
Yeah, I know that.
so the honey can come out. And you're gonna have some that it will be that way where the knife won't get it, so the scratcher will get it more.
Right there. You want to come around here on this side and do this one? Alright, this is gonna be one of those frames where I can't cut it all off of there.
Take the comb scratcher and just kind of, take it, just kind of rub it up against it. I know you're gonna damage the
So,
cells a little bit, but it'll get the cells open enough to where the honey will be able to be extracted.
How many times do you try to use your honey super frames? Those are all new in the place. I mean, those are all brand new.
mine are going on about 3 years.
Okay.
Okay, and like I said, I'm still new doing this, you know, I've only been doing it for like 6 years. So, you know, I really don't have anything that's that old in there.
Do you really like those plastic?
I really do. You know, they do have their, you know, I prefer, I have a plastic foundation, stick it in a frame, and then put it out there on the hive, and the bees don't touch it. So what I started doing now, I save all my own bee wax. And I'll process it, melt it all down, and then before I put a foundation into the frame, I wax it down real good on both sides. And when I do that, bees will take to that foundation real quick. Now, now, depending on which way your extractor spins, now this one here spins clockwise, all your cells on your frame are built out at a 14, 15 degree angle. So when you get ready to put them in there, you want to put them where they're facing out this way. So when that goes to spinning, they'll come out this way. If you have it the other way, you're making it harder for the honey to come out of the frame.
Is that good for left and right hand people?
Oh, you're funny, Charlie.
Really? Left and then right?
You're fun.
Now, how do you make that determination? Because I just swap them around. I don't remember really trying to start one way and go the other way.
Like I say, on the frames, I think, you know, they're all built out at about a 14 or 15 degree angle.
Okay.
So, you know, if you have them in, now, if you have a radial honey extractor, it doesn't matter. But now, if you have a tangential, which is like this right here, in my opinion, it matters. You want the the cells to face outward and not inward. Okay.
I'll walk in on that one, so.
Okay, so yeah, I use, this is a 600 mesh screen starters. And then this year I'm trying out, a lot of folks will use your stainless steel double sieve. Well, I really don't care to buy one, they're better expensive. So in the years past, we have just stacked the two of them one on top of the other without just stacking here like this, and they don't drain well. So, but this year I've come up with, I happen to have a spare bucket laying around that I wasn't using. So that goes in there, and this is my spacer.
So what's your second filter? What size?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 400. Yeah. Now they make a 200, but that's just a little bit too much to be using.
Too big or too little?
Too little. Yeah. While your extractor is spinning, you want to keep your honey rate opened up.
Keep it open while you're spinning.
Yeah. Well, it builds up your, takes a while,
And you may have to do this, a couple different times for all this stuff. Done with that side, on the tangential frame, extractor, you gotta take them out, you can flip them over.
Do you have any time frame you try to?
Yeah, change that.
Yeah.
Do you use, how long do you spend them? How much? Do you use heavy judgment? Do you use,
I think-
do you use?
Ms. Fred, in the past, we rent a 4-frame honey extractor from CABA, and Michelle and I, we can do 4 frames in 15 minutes. That's going from the honey.
What I was asking, how long do you try to spin it?
Oh, I just spend it in the pipe back to 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, what do you feel good here?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
feel the different weight when you pick it
no, it's
up.
the last one you haven't tried. I see it cockeyed right there.
That was not sitting in there like.
Okay. Now let's try it one more time. But you do want to keep your honey gate opened up while you are extracting honey. If you get too much honey in the bottom of this, and right where your bottom of your extractor, or the cage for your frame, right where they sit, you start stirring your honey, and then you end up incorporating air into your honey.
Just get a puff of fun.
Yeah. You'll have that oxygen. Generally, I do the first go around, come back and I'll do it again real quick, like just. Okay,
Overall, we gotta go slow on the whack, just start off slow. About, what I usually do for about 2 or 3 minutes, and I'll speed it up a little bit, and I'll keep this speeding up. But
Do you
yeah,
flip it?
I blow them out.
Yeah.
Carrie,
Too
do you
fast.
flip it before you speed up?
Huh?
Do you flip your frames before you speed up? No?
Now, you're spinning wax with plastic foundations, or are they all plastic?
Mine are all plastic.
Would you try to make that designation to keep them all alike when you're spinning them?
I started off with plastic.
I mean, would you have some plastics in with some wax foundations in your extractor?
I don't know, that's,
Okay.
mine are all plastic, so I can't tell you,
Find out.
When I started doing it about 6 years ago, yeah, about 5, 6 years ago, starting off with plastic foundation, I can tell you right now that it's what I wanted to do, was that, other people perceive me, doing well with it, but, I've learned a few mistakes that I made, and I compensated for all that. So, and I still believe plastic. I really do. Now, just my thoughts.
I was just changing, I had a lot of plastic in my coat,
Well,
plastic, and I just used the button.
There's a lot of folks that are going over to that are using plastic. If you get a frame that's all messed up, or let's say wax moth, come in, take that frame out, it's too bad, take your Hive tool, and you can put down here and just scrape it all off. Now, if your foundation is really old, it's on plastic foundation, my suggestion would be to cut that foundation off the frame and throw it away. I've tried to scrape old wax off plastic foundation, and it's more trouble than it's worth.
Did you try pressure washing it?
No, I have not. But I think over the period of time, if I remember right, don't the cells get smaller and smaller?
Yes, but that's in your brood chamber.
Oh, yeah.
That's because the cocoons just make it smaller and smaller. But your honey, the cells shouldn't get any smaller, should they, Charles? Charles? Yeah.
It gets smaller, a little smaller.
In the honey one, I know
Oh, no, I don't know about
the
that.
brood chamber, yes, but the honey one cells shouldn't get any smaller. There's no reason for them to.
I don't use much plastic, I use mostly.
Well, cells are cells, it doesn't matter if it's plastic or
Right.
wax.
So now, by the time you get through, you can get on average, about 3 pounds of honey off of a medium frame or a quart jar. And then by the time you get through, it don't weigh much more than probably about a couple pounds. That's all. So you don't.
Then what do you do with them after they're wet?
I'll put them back out in the bee yard and let the bees clean them all up. Whatever needs to be cleaned up. And I think there's still just a little bit of honey left in here, but not much. I just put them all out there, let the bees clean them up for 2 or 3 days, and then
When you put them out there to clean them up, do you fill that box up before you put it out, or what is your rule on that, or what is your experience on that?
I'll put out about 20 frames at a time. Now, what I do, I said there again, this is just what I got a couple saw horses with a couple 2x4s going the length across the saw horses, and I'll lay all my frames, everything on the 2x4s, just like this right here, and I'll leave about 4 or 5 inches in between each one of them, let them stay there for 2 or 3 days.
You're gonna have a pile of bees around you.
I do, and
The whole boxes you got.
yeah,
It's fun to watch.
I pull it up to the back where I can see it. About 10.
When he does that, also, homebees and wasps will also get off.
Mary won't leave the house.
I mean, this hot, yeah.
She will ride the back door so they.
It's cold. And it's fun to watch. And that's what Garrett was talking about.
The idea of
That's why we got to pull
whether you want to screen out any bee cars or wax capture that you may get. Cyber check,
Anybody's got to do it. Take it forward. Yeah, you need to. You'll have.
on a nice warm day, this will empty out a whole lot quicker. I wish it was all like that, but I can tell you right now, they don't all look like this.
That's great.
I'm trying to give you as much out as I can, and I set it out with the bees, take that, they'll wrap it
Jerry,
up.
when did you drop, or when did you get these frames out of the box?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Extremely was. I got to take pictures over there.
Yeah, like I said, we went in there about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
But I already knew which hive I wanted to pull them out, all out of, and I just stuck them in, I just had them in this box overnight to let them stay right until they came up here today.
When we extract the frames, this box here's got a board on the bottom of it, so it keeps the bees from getting inside. Because we put this on a push cart.
Okay, yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. It's another whole nother meeting, but this is the bottom portion for my solar wax mill. You know, so I get double duty out of that box right there.
I even call it deeps or cave hive. All these leaves, all mine are deep. That's when I have to start out slow. Get too fast with the deep, but it won't.
Okay, now.
Well, what I do, I'll take it back.
Okay, yeah.
Brush them off, put them in the bottom,
I would assume so.
BB gone, so the.
Trust me, I'd rather have
The
them
reason
fly
I do
out.
it, I can interchange off.
Jerry,
Yes, ma'am.
question, why do you have a screen on the front of your orange box?
Take it out and put it up top, just swamp frame.
For the fact in case while I'm transporting the honey frame or the 3 frame of honey, I didn't want to get bees inside of there. No.
He thought you might be trying to maintain them into the hive while you were pulling the honey, so
No. I thought,
I didn't think so, but
yeah. I pretty well much got the same thing on the back. I got styrofoam back here. All my bottom boards are all screen bottom boards. So that I got a piece of styrofoam on the back side to keep bees from getting in. And I did the screen on here this time was just to keep bees from getting in while I'm transporting the 3 frames of honey this afternoon coming up here. Any questions so far? Oh, come on, somebody's got to have some kind of question here.
Fine, me. How long did it take the bees to work on the frames to make that honey?
Oh. Somebody had to ask that question.
I'm laughing at him, not you, babe.
You know when you put your honey stickers on.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, if you hit everything just right, you can put plastic foundation wax honey right into your hive, and they can have it drawn out in a week. And we did that one time this year and a couple times last year, right? I put a brand new box on there, and then within a week, they go from flat to fully framed.
If you got enough bees.
Well, yes, you got enough. But generally, I would say by the time during the nectar flow, 4 or 5 weeks maybe. Stacy?
Well, you're just telling me about how you're having to build boxes on a weekly basis to keep
Well,
up with
that was a
them.
couple of years ago.
Well, that's a flow season though.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they can fill out a good sized portion of a box within a week and a half. That's at the heart of the flow season. Now, this year, our flow season has been sort of,
Yeah, personally, I think our flow season for this go around just wasn't there. In my, I think I don't. We've got normally we will pull.
About 92 frames normally is what we have done
Yeah,
in
the
the last couple
last
of
3
years.
years, we're getting between 28 and 29 gallons of honey in the last 3 years. This year, if I get half of that, I'm gonna be happy.
Did you have more swarms this year?
We've
I-
had one.
I had one,
That we know of.
Yeah.
That we know of.
My first, I'll tell you, I had, up until the first week of June, I've had no swarms, no queen cells, no swarm cells on any of my frames whatsoever. And I check them every couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks, I've had, out of the five hives that we had, 4 of them had several queen cells in there and swarm cells. And I mean, I had my first swarm.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, a week and a half ago.
Yeah, a week and a half ago. And it was the easiest thing, and
Who got it? Who'd you get it from?
I kept it.
I told you to get a box and put it
Yeah.
in.
It was literally 12 inches off the ground.
Okay, that's easy.
Yeah, there was a,
There was a flower bucket that was in our neighbor's yard. They went to that and then they went to a tree. So I don't know if we had 2 of them or 1. And they just kind of separated. And there's still some in that bucket in our neighbor's yard.
Well, but the main thing is, why would you go to June and not have any swarms? But that was the reason we gotta learn what you did to hold down those swarms.
What y'all did,
early, probably the end of March, end of February, first part of March, Carrie came over, and we went through my hive, and we went there and checkboarded a lot of the frames and moved boxes around. So, and like I said, for the first time, I had best of my and we know where our bees swarm to. There's a couple places in my neighbor's yard, one behind us, I know where they always go to. So during the swarm season, as soon as we get home in the afternoon, that's one of the first things that we do. We go out in the backyard and start looking here. Well, there's nothing there. So the past weekend, one afternoon, we got there on our patio just watching bees, and sure enough, I don't know which one they came from, that we didn't see them never come out. But we just know there was a bunch of bees congregating in this one spot. And then so Michelle went over there and looked in the corner, and sure enough, they're 12 inches right off the ground. So
They like flower pots. I've got one out of the flower pot.
So we took that orange box right there and set it as close as I could to that flower pot, picked the flower pot up, bees and all, and just took them right down inside the box. And within a couple of minutes, one that were on the tree right behind it, they started coming down and marching right into the backside.
You got the queen
Yeah.
when you did it.
And then ones from the flower pot, they started doing the same thing. So they stayed there for 2 or 3 hours. They stayed over there overnight.
Next morning.
Yeah, stayed over there the next morning.
But anyway, how many hives, how many active colonies do you have?
I got 5 hives and 2 nukes.
Okay.
We had 7 total probably a couple of years ago, but with Michelle and I still working a full-time job, we felt like 7 was just a little bit much for us to tend to, and it was. Because even on weekends when we tried to check our eyes, we still had to work. Both of us are in the wholesale nursery business, and from March 1st until the end of May, we're wide open. And it's 6-7 days a week, 10-12 hours a day. Not every day. but we're doing that 3 or 4 times a week. And so, for us to go out there and check our hive like we really need to, no. So
Well, I started with 3 hives and I had probably 5 swarms. And I caught every one of them. But I was just luck. I mean, and that's what Chuck and Timmy said, they normally swarm between 4 and 10, between 10 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it was lucky that I was just out and I caught every one of them.
Right.
One I caught, I didn't get the queen, they left. And
Well,
when one of them had swarmed, you try to take care of them, I lost it.
Yeah. Most of mine swarm. They're high enough where I just have to say, adios, goodbye, see you later.
I say, well, come on.
Yeah. Charles been over to my house a couple of times. I've had Scott Lucas from up in Alabama. He's been over to my house a couple of times, and they seem to swarm to this one tree in my neighbor's yard. And Charles was there, and they're swarming about chest high. Yeah. Literally, you just take a box, stand it right there, start going, easy peasy, and you're done.
Did you key yourself when you were, gathering that swarm to try to find the queen, or did you just say, I want to get them?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the queen.
Tell me how you were trying to find that. I mean, other than they're going to cluster
Well,
on that, or
I kind of think there was probably 2 in there.
Okay.
So when I put that high down the ground, and when I took that bucket out, or out off the ground and dumped them in there, they all started marching in. Now, then there was still some of them, chain link fence, probably got this high up, and they were probably, a couple inches thick on both sides. And so I was trying to rake them off in my hand as much as I could, and then double back in my. On the process, I saw another queen. Now, whether I got her, I don't know.
I had one. Do you mind us talking about? I had one hive that was super strong. I did not rob last year because they all swarmed and I felt like it wasn't strong, so I'm going to let them get strong. And I had one strong hive. And it must have been April. I went in there and they were all kinds of bees and they were the most aggressive but I had queen cells. I had probably 4 queen cells on every frame of my blue box.
I've been there.
And I took them all off.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I saw that. And all the other it did finally swarm, but it stayed strong.
Could have made a bunch of splits.
Yeah.
I've gone to our hive and found several queen cells and swarms, but I'll make sure I've got a queen in there before I start cutting all of them off there.
Okay.
If I can find eggs or larvae, yeah, I got a queen in there. But
Okay. So before you start robbing your honey supers, you make sure that it's got a queen in that box.
well, before I start cutting out queen cells or swarm cells off the frames, I want to make sure I got a queen in there.
Okay. That's good.
Do you use a queen excluder?
I hate queen excluders. I don't get me wrong, other beekeepers use them, plastic, wooden, metalware, but in my personal opinion, a metal queen excluder, the only thing it's good for is putting on your barbecue grill and grill on the top of it.
Make a good drip pan in your box there. I got one in mine.
But I have used them, and I got probably 3 or 4 at the house. And I've used them, and within a couple of weeks, I'll take them right off because bees won't go through them. All they do is just prophylise the gaps, and that's it.
Have you ever done any top bar hives?
Any what?
Top bar?
No. No, for us, it's generally in a quart jar that we'll put in about 43, 44 ounces. Pint jar, I put it in 20 or 21.
21 on the pints.
Yeah, 21 pints, yeah. So this year, we're going to offer a 1 pound jar, a pint jar, and then the quart jar. Now we had, this year, or last year, mason jars were very hard to find. And so, Stacy was, yeah, some of them still are. Stacy was kind enough to hook us up with some jars, and then, these are, they're mayonnaise jars. They're not canning jars, they're not near as thick,
They're great for honey because you can still decrystallize in them. You just can't pressure in them like you could a ball jar or an off-brand.
So,
And
I don't sell anyone, I just get it myself and get free. I kept some old, Smucker's peanut jars
yeah,
that have got the straight tops. You say, so you should have a bell-shaped jar to get more.
well, the
pressure.
jars that we bought last year, what it was is I found a company and I offered it to all the CABA members to go in and, buy jars.
Yeah.
The lids that they sell with those is a one-piece lid like
Yeah.
what he's using right there.
Just
instead of
regular,
two-piece.
just a regular metal lid with,
Yeah.
Yeah,
with the
but
seal.
I mean, the old mason jar lids
Yeah,
would
yeah.
fit these.
I know, okay. So so you had to use the one-piece lid then?
Yeah, I mean, that's what came with them.
Yeah.
And I've had no complaints from my customers or anything. So, I mean,
Michelle, would you make any biscuits or anything to go there?
He's the bakery.
I was gonna say, that's Jerry's job.
That's Jerry's job.
That's my job.
And
Did
he
you
fell
make
down
any-
on the job, right?
Right.
How many times do you straight it? You straight it twice then, one with the 60 and a.
I use the 600 here and then the 400 right below.
Oh, yeah. But do you try to, you're satisfied with that strength?
Yes. The 200, if you do want to use it, you're taking off, you're getting all the pollen out of it. So
See, that's what it kind of looks like when you are straining.
Yeah.
That's just getting the wax and stuff, big parts or anything. The other one's just straining it a little bit finer.
Different juice like this, I pour it, you gotta stir it a bunch. To keep it.
Now, let's say this, my uncapping tray, it's good for probably maybe 30, 40 medium frames. You do any more than that, it gets all piled up in the center. So, I generally have to go to another beekeeper friend of mine and go get his uncapping tray. His is twice the size, twice as long, twice as wide enough, so I can dump all my wax capping in there and let all drain in there. And I can get, we got about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of extra honey off all the wax that we cut off from last year. Some of it goes into here, which there's a little bit in there, but not much. Anything else? Any other question I can help answer?
He's got 10 more minutes to waste, guys. Answer questions.
So, talk to me, I need you probably read the statement. Talk to me a little bit how you handle that wax that you save to help out on
Okay.
your brain.
All your,
Cappings.
all my wax cutting now, it's, everybody does it a little bit differently.
Okay.
I take all mine and, like I said, this is the bottom portion of my cleaning, my solar wax melter. And there's a aluminum foil tray that fits in here. It's about not 2 inches shorter and 2 inches less wider. And I put a cleaning fluid on top of this.
Okay.
Then I'll put another medium box on top of it, and then I'll take paper towels and line the inside with just one layer, and that's all you need. And I use an old window frame that I got at a yard sale, and I stick it on there, stick it in my backyard, and all the wax, there'll be water in the bottom in that aluminum foil pan, and all the wax just drips through that, and it's about 89% clean, pure beeswax. And then at that point, when I'm all through, I'll take it and I'll stick it into a double boiler and melt it all down, and then pour it into your so-called mold. So I can handle the wax a little bit better.
You sell the wax? Do you sell your wax too?
I have in the past, but I generally try not to. You know, if somebody wants to buy something, that's fine. But I don't, you know, I really like, you know, I sold what I had last year, but this year I want to keep it. I need to wax all my foundation down with, and all my extra ones. I'll sell it.
You know, and do you consider yourself like heating that and you don't ever freeze it to try to sterilize it?
No.
I mean, so you're not worried about about it being unsanitary. I mean, you're not concerned about transmitting other problems on to your if you're putting it on your fresh frames.
Right.
You're not concerned about
No,
that being
and the law too
contaminated.
is that, it still has a little bit of the honey
Yeah.
mixed in there, so when we wax down the frames, it has a honey scent still on there, so it makes the bees go out more.
Now, what, I'm confusing the issue a little bit. And I had so many swarms, and I asked, what's your guy that catches all the swarms?
Charles?
Yeah, Charles.
From Clinton, from Chuck County.
Donald Short?
Yeah, Donald Short. And he made the statement to me, and I was trying to, I had so many swarms, and this was our last meeting, it's still one of our last meetings. And he said that when he put frames in there for his caught swarms, he did not want anything on the frames, and his basis for this was they have swarmed, and if you put a frame in there that had any type of smell on it, any type of pheromones on it,
Right.
that the bees were not as attracted to it. He said that they would be more attracted to stay there if you put in completely clean frames. Had you heard him say that?
My suggestion for you is do an about face and talk to the gentleman behind you.
I picked the worst frame you can find in the middle. And I put this on this one outside. I don't care how the blackest frames you can find.
That's
Okay,
right.
And I was doing the same thing, and I was doing the
I got a
same
box right now that's got top bar hive frames in it that I'm doing a little experiment. It's got one frame in the middle that's a regular frame, and it's full of these. And they didn't have anything on it but just a water wax right down the wood frame.
That's true.
And I can't wait to go in. I was waiting for Allison because it's her frame.
That's what I-
And she's
that's
got
what
a
I
top
did
bar
before.
hive, and I don't have one. I was gonna see, I
I let 'em
don't
build
know how we're gonna put it.
I would love somebody to make me a top bar hive.
Because we're
If
gonna have
he's
to,
got that
I know they build
capability,
straight
I will
down.
pay you for it.
We're gonna trim it on an angle and put them in, I guess, if I hadn't talked to her. That's what
I found mine full out
Way
of starter
out.
for Texas.
They will be proud.
So he makes them land.
New foundation in there. The reason is,
That's what they feel. It could be
or you
cleaner
put
in
a,
Texas.
you put a
Normal
heat foundation in there, or a new foundation.
So he
They're
has to
having,
get enough
they're having to work this side, then they gotta go up on the bottom, come and work the other side, and all. If you put a starter strip in there, they'll sit there, and they do it this way, they're doing it back and forth, it'll be like that kind of.
I put some, I use sometimes they didn't come and next and put it in, I use some.
But you can't put all them traps, those frames at all,
Yeah.
it was sitting in the yard, and you can't put all starter strips in there. You got, what I will put them in between strong out foundation. You put it between them, you give a little guide, it'll make it, you put it in there, put all the strips in there.
He's got red.
It'll be like this right here. I cost I got them sitting right now.
No, I say,
One of them is a swarm and it's.
Do you ever,
He definitely has.
I know with the Wax Foundation, I know all those problems. With the Plastic Foundations, have you had any issues with them or they?
The only one thing I can say, plastic nuts, to make sure you wax. They, you know, you can buy
I
them,
sell it to,
double
they
wax.
start out doing it.
I really don't, I just take my
I
own
almost
beeswax.
lost my fingers in a saw a couple times, and my brother.
I'll do it outside,
Three.
take some wax paper, lay that on my workbench, and then take the plastic foundation, lay it down on top of the wax paper, and take my beeswax and just rub the heck out of it.
Okay.
Flip it over, and do the same thing again, then I'll pop it into a foundation. And then we'll be-
So they pop into the frames a lot easier than the foundation.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not graceful.
It's gotta get in it, once you get it started. it's not a problem.
yeah, I mean, they pop into really.
Talk about half a mile.
Anything else? All right, then I guess we're through for the evening then.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, folks, if there's nothing else, stand around, talk, have communication, whatever. But we'll see you again in 2 months.
When's the fair?
August.
August?
No, sorry. October, yeah, October.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the dates are.
What is that class gonna be on?